Oh, you're on. Okay. Good. All right. Well, Jeff, let's see. Why don't we get started? So I'm Ken Zarker. I'm currently acting as chair. Today we'd like to do election of officers. We typically do that in October. Thanks for rearranging the schedule.
There are 8 other callers on the call.
Oh, there's another one. Just join. Uh-oh. Someone just joined?
Ken, I think it's where I just went off of phone to mic and speaker.
Yeah, and you're echoing, so you might check, make sure you're on telephone or mic speakers.
I'm going to hang up the phone and see it.
Michael Simpson.
There's Michael.
Hi.
Welcome.
Welcome.
We've got people still coming online, so we'll wait another minute here. Let's see. Greg, are you back yet? Okay. Well, why don't we let folks introduce themselves, and then we'll go ahead and get the meeting started. Want to start sort of from the East Coast and work our way west? Go ahead, Region 1, 2, and 3. Okay, Greg, are you back on the line?
Ken, it says he's self-muted.
Well,
Which means he needs to unmute himself.
maybe you can unmute everybody.
I can't unmute him. I tried. He's self-muted and can't be unmuted by the organizer.
Okay. Well, let's move on then. Who else we got on the phone today?
Leah Boyd, I just joined.
Great.
This is David Carter, Region 7.
Jennifer
Excellent.
Rachel Vaughn, Region 7.
Lissa McCracken, Region 4.
Landon Brown, Region 8.
Greg Adolphson, Region 3.
Great. Why don't we, well, welcome everyone. Why don't we get started? I sent out a draft agenda maybe about a week ago or so, and Jeff's got that up on the screen. Quickly, we see if there's any additional agenda items to add today. And like Alan may have on this. Alan, you want to introduce yourself? No, he just muted himself. Okay, thanks. Go ahead, Alan. Alan? you down. Any additional agenda items then? Okay. Next item was the consideration of minutes. Audrey is not on the call today. There you go. So what I gathered, we had minutes from back in August. I did attach there was a September call, but I don't believe there was a quorum for that call. So right now we're just sitting with the draft August board member minutes. So we want to see if there's any additions or corrections to those. You want to open them up, Jeff? I don't know if that thing is hot for you. There we go. Any corrections or additions?
I had reviewed them previously. I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, is that David?
Landon.
Landon? Sorry. A motion approved. A second?
This is
David
Jennifer,
Cardinal.
second.
I think David had the edge on that one. All right.
That's perfect.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Great. All right, we'll move on to, again, Jeff, or does anybody remember if we had I don't think we had a quorum for September, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I think we only had 4 people were able to make that call.
All right. All right, well, we'll move on to the next item, which is internal items. We had board election results. We have some new board members on the call today. So thank you for your willingness to serve and help with the organization going forward. One note is that Pat Gallagher, who was elected, has some health-related issues, so she's not going to be able to serve. We have a couple of ideas how to address that. And Jeff, I'm trying to remember all the details with that, but I think we have a full slate of officers now, of board members. Correct.
Well, without Pat, we're one large 2-year fill-in short. So we just need to, and that doesn't have to be an election. That's an appointment by the board.
Okay. So, who's new to the board? I believe David is new to the board, and
Jennifer.
And Jennifer. So again, welcome. Part of the what we'd like to do is probably get a separate call with you guys to kind of bring you up to speed. We do have a member handbook that kind of outlines the roles and responsibilities. I don't know if Jeff or Kim sent that to you before Kim left at her position. But why don't we let you have a minute here just to introduce yourselves and share with you kind of the board, kind of what your interests are and your interest in serving on the board.
I'll let Jennifer go first.
All right, Jennifer.
Well, I sure can. I actually, this will be my first, I suppose, term that is from the start, me being able to serve. I had come in previously to, and kind of had filled sort of an interim position as the Region 7 contact, but I work with the Iowa Pollution Prevention Services Program, so the P2 program for the state of Iowa, and I am a member of the technical assistance staff here, so we do quite a bit of pollution prevention assessments throughout the state of Iowa with various business and industry that will center on energy, water, solid waste reduction type projects, hazardous waste reduction type projects. We also have an intern program that we operate every summer, and so we support pollution prevention projects in industry throughout the summer months, and then sometimes a few co-op positions that will extend into fall, as well as different workshops for environmental professionals kind of throughout the year. So my background is a little bit more fulfilling a technical role with the program, but I have really enjoyed the educational aspect of it as well. So just looking forward to continuing to serve with all of you. So
great. Thank you. The organization's had a long history, and we're very pleased that you could join the board. All right.
Okay, so my name's David Carter. I'm with the Kansas State University Pollution Prevention Institute and the Kansas Small Business Environmental Assistance Program. Been here for about 8 years now, but I've been in the environmental arena pretty much my entire adult career, starting in the Army as an environmental science officer. My interest is all things environmental, and pollution prevention is, I think, the key and severely underrated and underutilized. So anything I can do to help the cause.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I think the nice thing about this board is that we all are doing our sort of day jobs on a day in, day out basis, and so as the roundtable, it's a great opportunity to share what folks are doing and coordinate on things. It's been tough several years here recently with pollution prevention. We have some new leadership coming on the board. We have new leadership at EPA. I think that's positive. Next week we'll be hosting a P2 dialogue meeting. But resources have been cut, and it's been a bit of a struggle for this organization to continue. But we've tried some new approaches, and so new ideas that folks have to support the organization, I think, are going to be important in the coming year. So thank you. And I've been in a leadership position for quite a few years, but I've talked to a few folks about taking on some of that responsibility. And so our next item is actually election of officers. And each year we typically elect a chair, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer. I sent out a note to folks to see if those were interested. I did get some responses for folks. So I wanted to see if there was any nominations from the floor for those positions. And then maybe have those individuals talk a little bit about their interest in those positions. Are there any nominations from the floor? Or the phone, I guess. All right. Well, hearing none immediately, I would like to nominate Greg Allison for chair, Audrey Miller for vice chair, Anahita has expressed interest to continue as treasurer, and then Landon Brown is willing to serve as secretary. Of course, Audrey couldn't make it today, but I did talk to her, and she was interested in serving as a vice chair capacity. And I talked to Mr. Ailson, and he's interested in serving as chair. So Greg and Landon, you want to just chat briefly about your interests and what you'd like to bring to the organization?
Wow, Ken, thanks. Nothing like putting me on the spot.
Tough to be in a leadership position.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's been quite an experience just being a part of the organization. Flattered, you know, for the many years that I've been a part of the board of directors. I don't think anybody can fill your shoes or the effort that's made by folks like Jeff Burke and the folks in his office, especially when he's got a staff. It's been an honor and a privilege to participate, but I think as far as why I'm interested in serving is incorporating the concepts of sustainability into the overall scheme of what pollution prevention means to all of us. And I think for years, P2 has been looked at as just that. And I think we need to focus more on sustainability concepts and principles to sort of move this country and each of the states forward, whether that be in the manufacturing arena, retaining and creating jobs, or looking at alternative, you know, sources in the future for, you know, how we provide energy, not only to ourselves, but to the companies and the various organizations that are, you know, trying to build this business culture here in the United States. I think as far as my personal goal for this is just that, to somehow integrate and translate that P2 is not just about, you know, preventing pollution, that over the past few years I realized that it's been a major component and a major tool in the toolbox for, you know, moving toward a more sustainable future. So that's why I'm encouraged about being involved with the board as we move forward, is the integration of sustainability into our overall mission.
Very good. And Landon, I appreciate your interest.
Yes, sir. I actually, I don't know, you said, I didn't catch Audrey on here. Was she on here today?
No.
Okay. I've taken some notes to try to get this as well. My name's Landon Brown. I've served as the Region 8 section for the Board of Directors now for going on 2 years. Pulled over my predecessor who was here. Many of you guys know him, Steve Roseberry, but I just would echo the sentiment that it's been a privilege and an honor to serve with the experience and the knowledge base that this Board of Directors brings regarding P2 practices. I would definitely like to see us promote ourselves on a pretty serious level over the next year. And I believe that serving in a leadership responsibility, I think that I can assist with that a little bit as well. I also think that providing a little bit of a geographical difference is going to be big. I'm out here in Region 8, which I'm actually in Wyoming. We don't have a ton of areas such as manufacturing and stuff like that, so it'll be a good area for me to get a little bit more information from the rest of the regions that suffer from some of the same issues that I do, but in the same token, I can bring my experience with that as well. I also serve as the Small Business Environmental Assistance Program Coordinator for the state of Wyoming, and I serve on the 507 SB National Steering Committee as their secretary as well. So this will just be just another secretary position for me to notch on here.
We certainly appreciate that. All right, well, thanks. Those are excellent summaries, and at this point, I'd like to see if there's any additional nominations. Otherwise, we'll entertain a motion for the election of officers.
This is Stephanie. I will make a motion to take your recommendations, Ken, and approve the nominations.
This is Alan Bookman. I will second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? All abstained? Congratulations. So there's just another note is that the executive committee for the board is chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer, and past chair, which I am now fortunate to have that title. And that group will be sort of the board used on a more regular basis. So at this point, I can turn the meeting over to Greg, right?
Oh, really?
You're the
The
chair.
meeting is adjourned. I'm glad that everybody showed up today, but yeah, the meeting is now adjourned. Right. Well, thank you, everybody. Where are, as far as the agenda goes, as what I can see on the screen, what item number we were on? Item number 4, I guess.
4B.
We're on the membership committee update.
Item number 4, membership committee update.
Yeah, and I kind of, we probably need to let Jeff have a few minutes at some point, because when I set this agenda out, he was on vacation, so I didn't include him. But yeah, right now we're on membership, and I was going to have, maybe you can have Lissa kind of give us a little update on that.
Super. Do we need to open that Word document there as well?
Yeah. They'll kind of give a little orientation what their committee's working on. So just a brief kind of overview. It's a very active work group, and been doing a lot of good work.
Okay, so this is Lissa. I'll put in my 2 cents on what's happening. It's nice that we have this document in front of us. So the committee last met on September 8th, so I had to take a look at it as well to see what we talked about. Our next meeting is actually this coming Monday. But we talked somewhat about, Jeff had provided updates on P2 week activities, and I don't know if you want to, at this point, Jeff, provide any other kind of follow-up information on the P2 week activities since it's now been concluded.
Sure. Let's see. We are actually coming out with a special edition of the P2 Press that will highlight what we've gathered from folks as far as what else is going on with P2 Week. Just to let you know, state of New Jersey, the governor signed a proclamation about P2 Week, and also Indiana had their Partners for Pollution Prevention conference on the 17th. So in addition to that, we had our Most Valuable P2 Award ceremony, which we had very good attendance, and we created a new award this year in honor of our colleague Fred Granick, who passed away back in early January, for somebody who is from outside the United States, but we know about that's doing good things with respect to pollution prevention, and this year that award, this first award, went to a fellow Canadian of Fred's, Bruce Taylor, and actually Bruce was presented with the award at the Indiana conference because he was a speaker there. We had a very good response from House and Senate for doing meet and greets with our winners on the 17th. And so we got a lot of opportunities to either meet with congressmen or senators or their legislative assistants from several of the winners' states. And we even made a special night before meetings for Leah and her boss. And I think that those went very well. So from that perspective, that went well. We sold more posters than we did the previous year, so that was also a good thing. And then we had a webinar on the 18th on grants and metrics. That was very well attended, and we got some very positive feedback from that as well. So.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about P2 Week before we move on? So next on it talks about the P2 results rollout. That's all been placed on hold. right now. While I think the numbers are being and the reports being verified and going through a process. So at this point, we had hoped to be able to do a rollout. For those who are new on the call, we'd hope to be able to do a rollout wrapped up into this whole P2 week blitz and the visits to the congressman, but that didn't work. So that's on hold. The next section talks about MVP awards updates, and that Jeff talked a little bit about that. And then much of the 2, 3, and 4 is to increase awareness about P2 at a higher level. Then a big focus for us on the membership committee really is recruitment and how to get better recruitment and get more people on board. And that's where getting the word out and exposure and outreach and those types of things are the ways to be able to get the name about NPPR out in front of people. So looking down there at number 5, recruitment strategy, that's a big focus for us. And we're right now in the position of going back and looking to see what our goals were and reviewing those and develop new ones for the current year. Thinking about, the focus of our outreach, do we need to look at, are there certain things that would resonate or connect with potential memberships, policy, more policy-related information, and also looking at the work group makeup and, the work groups aligned to, with where the NPPR is, where the organization is, and moving forward. And talking about in future webinars, should we be doing something to help make that connection about regulatory updates and how they intersect with P2. The status on certificates for members, that was something that we had talked about doing. This was right before, a little while before Kim left, and I don't think, with her leaving that we were able to get that, but we would like to, send members certificates so that they do have that to, kind of highlight their membership with the organization. Crowdsourcing is another topic that we've discussed for revenue generation, and that's something that it's still in the early stage, and that's something, Greg, I know that you've talked about before with what you've done in West Virginia, and so we're still trying to get up to speed on that, but that is something that we'll want to be talking to the board about, and the same as with changing focus on the work group and everything. I think as we're moving forward, there needs to be some interaction with the membership committee and the board to make sure we're staying on focus and where you all think we should be going with the outreach. And then lastly on there, it talks about a fall webinar series, and we currently have some webinars scheduled, and I think if you scroll on down, they're at the bottom of this page. But we completed the September 18th one. We had talked about the green chemistry manual was going to be coming out, and so doing one for the green chemistry manual. Is that still looking good, Michael?
Yes, it's still looking good. We start off in January with the microbeads, and then we'll have the green chemistry probably in February of next year.
Okay. We had talked about having the MVP award winners do, maybe some of them showcase their successful projects and what's happening as to why they, won the award. And so that's a potential topic. P2 results were set for a topic in December. I'm not sure with what's going on with the validation and approval whether that'll come through. And then we definitely want in the upcoming year to do, and very big, we need to recognize the fact that it's a 30-year anniversary for P2 and do a state of P2 and NPPR address that we want to focus on. So some of these webinars that, as we have planned them out, we'll be talking Monday about, how they're going to shake out. But But that's really the latest and greatest on membership committee. If anyone else can, Jeff, sometimes you're on the calls if there's anything else you want to add.
No, I don't think so. At this time.
Excellent. So moving on, I guess next would be green chemistry.
Yes, hi. This is Michael Simpson calling from the City of Los Angeles to talk about the Green Chemistry Manual. We made great progress. I want to thank Ken for letting his graphic artists get to the manual. All the graphics have just about been completed. We received a prefix right up from the president of ACS. So we're just waiting for Region 9 to have a EPA overview of the manual, and we should be able to release it hopefully by November at the latest. So then we plan to do a webinar probably in February. We plan to do about 2 or 3 follow-up webinars. Some of the people who wrote the chapters would like to present some of the information in the manual to the audience. So been getting a lot of people ask me about the manual when it's going to be finally published, and we look forward to getting it done real shortly. It's been a great effort, and I thank the board for supporting me on this, but we're almost at the finish line.
That's good work, Michael. I think it's a great idea. Then you'll have a lot of material that you can roll out as webinars and things like that next year.
Yes, we can do about 3 or 4. In fact, I've kind of got a webinar schedule, and I'll send it to the membership committee. Who's on the? Who was talking just then on the membership committee?
It was Lissa.
Yeah.
That was who?
Lissa.
Oh, Lissa. Okay. I'll send you the schedule that we think some of the things we're going to speak on. We want to speak on some of the chapters in the manual, especially the one dealing with the green chemistry mindset, cradle-to-cradle production, and some of the more advanced thinking that the manual will deliver to people. So I'll be talking to my authors hopefully this week, and we'll deliver that schedule to you. Are we going to get another office manager? Because I just need to know that so we can get this information to the person, simple how to do webinars.
Michael, you can just send it to me for now.
Okay. And then we're going to do a microbead webinar in January, which is really, really great just before green chemistry, because as you know, the microbeads or microplastics are showing up in our treatment plant systems, and we're not able to remove them all to an acceptable level. We've seen them in our storms drain system. So we think green chemistry is going to provide a solution for this to a different alternative substance for the microbeads, which are found in a lot of products to help clean skin or whatever they're there for. So having a microbead, I have a college student, Susanna Vargas, who's got some great speakers lined up for this webinar in January, and I'm going over her proposal and her flyer now, and I'll shoot that to you guys as soon as it's done. I'll shoot it to Jeff.
Okay.
And on the other note, I'll be speaking at the Consumer Safer Consumer Product Summit coming up next week, and it's called Green Chemistry and Innovation. It fits right in with the manual. I'll be talking about alternative plastics. I'll talk about cradle-to-cradle production, which is written in our chapter. One thing that I'm really going to talk about is the level of understanding of green chemistry from small to medium manufacturers. This manual here is going to really change the way people talk about green chemistry, because I'm in the pre-treatment field. As you know, we have like 3,000 to 4,000 treatment plants in the whole United States. So we're going to make sure each POTW can easily access this manual. I'll be talking to about conferences. And as you know, we usually have to go out to businesses and permit and enforce. So this would be a great way for us to talk about green chemistry to our customers around the nation. So this is a great way to diffuse green chemistry to the common practitioner at our public home treatment plant. So I think it's a good vehicle to get green chemistry from being so mystique to everyday language.
Excellent. Anything anybody else wants to add there?
Good job.
Great. Are there any other items under internal items that need to be brought up or discussed?
Yeah, Greg, I just want to mention a couple of things.
Go right ahead.
Okay. So Lisa already mentioned that we had to put a hold on the P2 results report for 2010 through 2012, and in discussions with EPA, one of the issues that the big issue that they had was that they didn't see in the report the things that we had negotiated and agreed with them on back, well, it was about a little over a year ago that we got an email memo from Tanya Motley saying these are what we agreed to use the P2 results data. So I have two interns working this semester, and I had one of them go through and actually pull the data for every state for each of the 3 years and parsed out by grant and non-grant results. So that will be an appendix to the existing report, and we'll do a couple of what I would consider minor edits, I think, in order to explain what we've done with that. But I'm hopeful that with going through this, and it's a rather lengthy appendix, like over 150 pages now, just for the appendix. That will satisfy EPA in terms of the transparency issue that they have, and also that the report is a self-contained document, although we will still direct people to the results data system that P2RX houses. So, like I said, I'm hoping, and maybe with some of the discussions next week's EPA state dialogue, we'll be able to make sure we get that approved and then get final, and hopefully have that report out in the next few weeks. The other thing I wanted to bring up, although this is actually external too, is that we are working with the Air and Waste Management Association to put on a pollution prevention focus conference. It will be in Cincinnati, Ohio, January 13th and 14th. Lisa is going to be on the agenda. Her former boss, Cam Metcalf, is going to be one of the keynote speakers. I'm going to be talking as well. We've got a lot of other folks from that area of the country who will be participating. And I'm actually proposing to do 2 half-day workshops before the conference starts. The first one on the P2 101, and then the second one on environmental management systems. And hopefully we can generate some revenues from those 2 workshops, as well as some percentage of the revenues from the overall conference. So our goal is between 60 to, well, at least 60 people to attend, based on the meetings that I've participated on. The folks in that area that are AWMA members are very excited. They think that they can get much larger numbers, which would be great.
Excellent. Anybody have any questions or comments for Jeff?
Yes, Jess, this is Lissa. So on the P2 results, information. You said a couple weeks. Like, when do you think NPPR will be turning it over to EPA? And then how long, in your experience, would you think it would take EPA to review it?
I would say in the next 2 weeks we'll give it to EPA, and then 2 weeks for them to review, because they've already seen it before. This is just one more appendix for them to look at the actual data. So what we did with the initial report was to do it as a summary report and refer people to the database if they wanted more information.
Right.
And that didn't go over well. So
yeah. Okay.
We decided to do the full, okay, we'll pull the data and put it in the report.
Okay. And then just curious, what about the administrative director position? What are you looking for as far as timing on hiring for that?
Probably now. I might be looking at beginning of next calendar year.
To hire?
It's really going to come down to what our financial situation is.
Yeah, that's.
It's not prudent to hire somebody if our financial situation isn't in better shape.
Mm-hmm. And go ahead.
I mean, one idea that I have is one of the interns that I have now is done with school, and she's interning here as a way to build a resume. So one possibility would be to have her work or pay part-time as a fill-in type of thing. But again, we'll have to look at the financial status in order to even do something like that.
Right, and that's the other thing was I was just wondering what kind of internal resources do you have? You'd mentioned a couple interns, and I just didn't know how many hours is that to support you, because there's a lot going on and that falls on you.
The total for the interns is 24 hours. So I've been giving them stuff to do to kind of catch up, and so if there are new projects that people would like to propose that they work on, that would be great. Send them to me, and I can, we can get them working on some of those things.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Excellent. Well, we can move on, I guess, then from internal items to external items.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and talk about this. Next week is EPA State Dialogue meeting. This is the sixth one of these I think we've hosted. EPA actually is doing a 3-day meeting in Chicago. EPA only people on Tuesday, then EPA and states on Wednesday, and then EPA only again half day or so on Thursday. So this is not the final agenda. This is the draft version that I think, Ken, I sent you, and there's been some changes in the order. We're actually going to start with session 2, and because that talks about what's the status of the programs and TAPs and all, and then move after that to discussion on the National Program Manager Guidance. We'll be talking about P2RX. Measurement has been removed from the. We're going to talk about greenhouse gas emissions over lunch. Results and emerging activities are not going to be part of the discussion. We'll talk about P2RX, and then we'll talk about the communication communications and marketing, and that'll take up the whole day with those 5 sessions instead of the 8 that was initially or proposed in the draft that's ahead of you. So
that sounds more reasonable.
yeah, and the one thing that we've done is we've identified state people who will be there to help co-lead each of the sessions, so that it's not falling just on EPA or just on the state, but actually a state and EPA person with a lot of input from the regional folks. I think all the regional P2 program managers will be there as well. Actually, we're looking at something like 45 people are going to be in the room on Wednesday. So
really, we expect to get anything done?
Well, I propose to do a carousel brainstorming session for the first session, so that I think will be productive. The other thing that I heard when I met with EPA yesterday was that the state people will be sitting in the the room will be set up in a U-shaped table. All the state people will be in the U, and then the rest of the folks will be either in that U shape or sitting around on the outside. So the focus is going to be on what the states say, and the facilitator that they are bringing, that's being brought in from Region 10, is being instructed that that's how she should focus her attention, is on getting the state folks engaged and getting information from them.
Okay, sounds good.
So,
thanks for helping put that together.
Yeah, well, actually they gave us additional funding and extended our grant, our cooperative agreement for support. So that was quite helpful.
How long did it extend it?
Till the end of the calendar year.
Okay.
And I've asked them about if they're going to put out an RFP for support, like we've been doing for the last number of years, which we did non-competitively, and now they would have to put out an RFP and make it competitive. And they still haven't reached any kind of decision on that, in terms of, are they going to do it? What's it going to say? What the tasks would be, and then what the level of funding would be. So.
Okay. Well, we might want to set up a call with our executive committee to talk a little bit about that, because I know that I work with ECOS a lot, and ECOS has been able to set up non-competitive cooperative agreements for projects, and so there might be some opportunities to follow in their footsteps.
Yeah.
And I know,
maybe that we have to parse out the activities rather than a more comprehensive type of cooperative agreement covering, because the last one covered about 5 different areas.
One of the things I'm going to bring up about in terms of P2Rx is, and I don't know if folks had the opportunity, there was a little survey that kind of went around, but I'm sort of resurrecting the idea of creating a national coordinator position again under this EPA program they're rolling out called E-Enterprise, and it's something that ECOS at a high level is supporting. It builds off the national information networks that are out there. Potentially it's a source of new revenue funding down the road. So I'm pitching an idea, how do we bring more resources to support and modernize P2Rx? I think I'm interested in how we better integrate our web-related services across those centers plus NPPR. So we'll see. What kind of some ideas that we could think about there.
Anything else under external items?
Well, yeah, I do have one more. I was contacted by folks in the Office of Research and Development at EPA. They're working with the concert venue, a group that's trying to green concerts, music concerts, and a big push from a couple of the folks in rock music to try and focus on that. And I'll have more information. They're trying to do a face-to-face meeting in January in the D.C. area. So that may be another area. One of the things that we're looking at is that there's already an ISO standard for venues that was actually used by London and also by Sochi, Russia for the last two Olympic Games. But those are pretty large events, and the question is, how does it translate down to the smaller type venues? But that's something that we'll work on, and I know there's folks on the phone with a lot of EMS experience, so I may be contacting you for some support on that.
Hey, Jeff, while you're on the concert, or rather the venue sustainability and EMS, have we ever talked with the Green Sports Alliance, this new movement going on here in the United States?
Well, I've talked with the folks at EPA that are involved with that, because that's the pollution prevention folks.
Right.
But there hasn't been anything that they've asked us to be involved with.
I know, for example, West Virginia is a small state, but they definitely have reached out to the two larger universities here, like Marshall and WVU. But some of the guys that have crossed our paths in the past, like an Adam Saslow, Ira Feldman, they're very much engaged in that whole Green Sports Alliance. I just wonder, there's a lot going on out there, and I know the Green Sports Alliance formed this new partnership with the Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design Group under the United States Green Building Council. So there's a lot of integrity being added to their movement, I guess, with USGBC's backing. Anywho.
PPRC's involved with that, so.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was trying to see in their members clubhouse if I could see a recognizable partner here right off the bat, but I couldn't find it. The list is rather lengthy. All right. Anything else then?
This is Ken. I've been working with a group as part of a cleaner production group down in Brazil, and they published their second book. And I have a chapter in there, and I think Jeff did one in the first book. I think Greg, aren't you going down there next year to participate in that event?
I am, yes. In fact, I'm wrapping up a couple abstracts and need to get a photograph and something put together for a submission next week, yes.
Yep, so there's a book they put out. It's called Advances in Cleaner Production Volume 2. And it's available now through Nova Publishers, if you're so inclined.
Kenny, you're going to do a book signing in Chicago?
Maybe I should. Bring your copy with you. It's only modestly priced. But there's a gentleman down there, Baggio Giannetti. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Giannetti. Yeah.
Giannetti. Yeah. Baggio. He and his colleagues down there have been very successful in running this event every year in Sao Paulo, and they've been including us very graciously each year. So you'll probably end up getting to write a chapter, Greg, I would think, at some point.
Right.
For Volume 3.
Excellent.
So anyway, that's a little trivia for you. And that's all I had.
And for some reason, my agenda disappeared. Does that mean that Jeff just shut down his computer?
I still got it.
Really?
No.
Wow.
Not on this end.
Oh, wow. It must have been me on this end that shut it down, so sorry about that.
All right. Any questions? All right. I'll make a motion to adjourn. This is Ken.
Second.
Thanks, Alan.
Bye, everybody.
Well, thanks,
All right.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks.